Imagine waking up tomorrow and every black and brown person in America is just gone. No warning, no explanation, just poof, gone. The workforce, the culture, the communities, the contributions, just all erased overnight. What would happen to America? Would it thrive, like some racists claim? Or would it collapse under its own weight? Let's talk about it. Black and brown workers make up nearly half of America's essential workforce. Nurses, teachers, farm workers, truck drivers, construction workers, delivery drivers, just gone. The $3 trillion that black and brown consumers contribute to the economy, vanished. Small businesses, over 30% of them are minority owned. That means empty storefronts, lost jobs, and neighborhoods turned into ghost towns. We know for a fact that the U.S. relies on immigrant labor and historically oppressed communities to do the work that it doesn't want to acknowledge. Without black and brown people, who's going to keep things running? Who's going to make America cool? Let's be real. American culture is black and brown culture. Hip-hop, gone. Latin music, gone. Fashion, slang, food, art, all gone. The NBA, the NFL, boxing, decimated. No more Serena Williams, no more Patrick Mahomes. No more Jalen Hurts. No more LeBron, no more Messi. No more Usain Bolt. You're watching a golf tournament in silence now. Black culture alone generates billions for corporations, but those same corporations fight against black empowerment. Imagine them trying to profit off America, but they have nothing but bland corporate branding and country music. But we created that too. 1 in 5 doctors, 1 in 4 nurses, 1 in 3 home health aides are black or brown. Who's going to take care of America's aging population? The agricultural industry. Most farm workers are Latino. That means no fresh fruits and vegetables. Fast food, meatpacking, warehouses, sanitation. Heavily dependent on black and brown labor. But if they're gone, those industries, they shut down overnight. The same people that America underpays and disrespects are the ones keeping it alive. 40% of the U.S. military is made up of minorities. Without them, America's global power weakens instantly. Law enforcement? Black and Latino officers make up 30% of the police force. Who's going to patrol the communities? America would no longer be a superpower. Because trust me, the rest of the world is watching. America needs the very same people that it mistreats. The U.S. relies on immigrant workers and young black and brown folks to fund programs like Social Security and Medicare. Without them, there aren't enough taxpayers left to support the system. Retirement funds? Drained. White America will realize too late that the same people they spent decades trying to suppress are actually the backbones of this country. America's entire financial system depends on people of color, but it refuses to invest in them. Who's left to blame after we're gone? Without black and brown people, who's going to be the new problem? Can't blame crime on inner cities. Can't complain about taking our jobs. Can't scapegoat immigrants anymore. So who's the new target? Because history shows that when oppressed people disappear, the powerful just find a new enemy. The reality is black and brown people built this country, fund this country, and maintain this country. America doesn't function without its most exploited and underappreciated people. The real question isn't what happens if we leave. The real question is, why is America so dependent on people that it refuses to respect? The fact is, America doesn't deserve black and brown people. But without us, it doesn't exist.
One thing for sure, white America cannot stand the truth that without black Americans, there is no America. That is the truth that I think it cannot be tolerated. Without black Americans, no wealth, no culture, no power, nothing. And that truth alone, it's enough white rage explode. And this is the video I'm going to talk about today. That's the video I'm going to talk about because I've come across videos where black Americans are talking about America, how they have fueled America, and it is true. It's not a lie. Black Americans have fueled Americans to the core. Since day one, since the days of slavery, since the days of the ships, when the ships landed or were on the coastline of America, that's where black people or enslaved Africans started to fuel America. Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean. Much love and you. Welcome back to my YouTube commentary. The truth speaks. This truth that I'm talking about sparks white rage, okay? The truth they fear to confront. They don't want this question asked because the answer exposes everything that they try to hide. And this question is, why would America, or what would America be without black Americans? That's Americans' economy. that Americans' culture, that Americans' politics and global identity are rooted in the blood, sweat, tears, and brilliance of Black Americans. So family, today on this video, I want us to talk about this. It's a conversation. I'm going to present my points and I want to see your points in the comment section. But first of all, let us watch these clips here and then we come back and talk something about this.
All right, let's finish what we started. Because a world without Black and brown people, it wouldn't just be dull. It would be dysfunctional. Let me tell you how much we'd take with us. Let's start with transportation. No traffic lights. Garrett Morgan. No modern highways. Latino engineer Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena. He also helped bring color TV. Say goodbye to that too. No gas-powered cars. Mexican inventor Victor Ochoa. He helped design one of the first. I hope you like walking. And let's talk food because your plate, it just got real sad. No potatoes, tomatoes, chocolate, vanilla, corn. All from indigenous Latin America. No coffee. Ethiopians gave y'all that. No sugar or rice. South Asians and Middle Eastern traders, they made this global. And even the way that we cook and season food, African, indigenous, Caribbean, those cultural traditions, they help shape that. You're going to be eating bland and boiled everything. Now let's talk hygiene. The Moors, aka the Black Muslims from North Africa, they brought indoor plumbing, advanced sanitation, and soap to Europe when folks were still throwing waste into the streets. If we never existed, y'all would still be musty. Not opinion, just history. And if we're talking healthcare, just know that modern medicine wouldn't exist without Black and brown people. Cataract surgery, Egypt. The first surgical instruments, India. Blood banks, Dr. Charles Drew. No advanced surgeries, no blood transfusions. If you get sick, good luck. And don't even think about electricity. The modern light bulb, it wouldn't exist without Lewis Latimer. Refrigeration, that was Frederick McKinley Jones. Now your food's rotting and your lights are out. And guess what? You're also bored out of your mind. Because there's no hip-hop, no jazz, no salsa, reggae, Bollywood, kung fu movies, and rock and roll. And guitars? Black Moors introduced stringed instruments to Europeans. The whole world just got a lot quieter. The concept of zero, algebra, advanced geometry, all trace back to African, Middle Eastern, and South Asian civilizations. Astronomy? Ancient indigenous and African societies. They mapped those stars before Europeans even knew what a planet was. Physics. The foundations of motion and engineering, they came from Arabic and African scholars, long before Newton showed up. Computers? You remember Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena? The color monitor. Poof. And here's the thing that stings. Y'all aren't surprised by any of this. You always knew. That's why you built entire economies off of stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen inventions. Thomas Edison gets credit for the light bulb, right? But Lewis Latimer made it work. Elvis Presley became the king of rock and roll by mimicking Black musicians. And when we did build our own wealth and communities, they were burned down. Tulsa, Rosewood, Wilmington. It'd be more than a country without culture and the relationships that you've built. No advanced medicine, no modern transportation, no working electricity, no technological advancements, no cultural influence, no innovation. What would be left if we took away everything that we gave you? Because from where I'm standing, not a damn thing.
I'm hearing people saying, oh, we only have 3 more years, hold on tight. Bitch, if we make it till 3 years, this motherfucker is crashing out. I saw that he's considering banning Nigeria, Ghana, St. Lucia, basically all Black countries. Yeah, it's getting crazy out here. Bitch, fuck getting crazy. It's been crazy. It's just getting scarier. Like, I'm always one to say, you know, have enthusiasm, have courage, have that, you know, that spark to be like, we can do this, bitch. I don't know. We got it this time. We might have met our match, America. Like, he came in swinging with this mass deportation bullshit. Imagine 4 years from now if he actually gets birthright citizenship up under his belt. Do you know how empty New York City would be? Like, America as a whole, but do you not know how, like, empty New York would be? It would be very scary, actually. Like, it would be too empty. But if he does get to, like, stay in office these whole 4 years, I know for a fact he's about to do us he about to do us dirty. He's about to do us dirty. Oh, let's just pray he gets out, y'all.
The reason why you guys don't have any Black American female influencers is because you guys don't actually like us and think that we're interesting. You just want to take all the cute and fun and interesting things from us and copy it and then, like, resell it to all the other Black black content creators that are from like other areas, other countries, they are getting their shine because of us, because they're not like us. They look like us, but they're not us. So that's why people like them. They look like us, but they have a British accent. They look like us, but they're from a different country. Da, 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 da. It's so, I mean, it's like common sense.
Hey, you know, something I've always known, but I've come to realize it even more and more in recent years, is how important black culture is to American culture. How important black American culture is to the world's culture. Every time I see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girl singing soulfully on TikTok, I know that has been influenced by black American culture. Every time I see a bald white trucker doing dance moves to chub rock on the internet, I know that person has been influenced by black American culture. Every time I see a group of Asian Americans pop locking to James Brown on the internet, I know that they have influenced by African American culture. It happens all around you every day. The way people look, the way they dress, the way they talk, the slang that they use. What would America be without black American culture? Very sad, very bland, very gray, very unseasoned. I shudder to think. Be blessed.
Y'all do realize that African Americans are not immigrants, right? We are not foreigners. There are 8 generations of black American descendants of slavery. There are only 10 generations of white people since America was founded. That means that we have been here just as long as they have. We are entitled to as much representation as white America because we helped found and build America. America was built on the backs of black descendants of slavery. Out of the 45 million black people in America, only 1 million of those are immigrants from overseas. That means that 44 million black people in America are descendants of slavery. So when we see black people on TV, the vast majority of them should be descendants of slavery. I get that other groups of people deserve representation too, but what black Americans are owed by white America is not the same as what immigrants are owed by white America. Every group of black people has their own country. That means that y'all have y'all own media and y'all's own cultural representation on your land. But this land right here is just as much white American land as it is black American land. Because there would be no white America without black America. Everything that exists on this motherfucker today was built by black people. I don't think y'all understand that point. Y'all never take the time to understand African Americans' identities. Because if y'all did, y'all would understand why we feel entitled to what we are entitled to. There will always be Nigerian representation as long as Nigeria exists. There will always be Ghanaian representation as long as Ghana exists. There will always be South African representation as long as South Africa exists. But when immigrants come to America and they start telling us who is considered black American and who is not, then y'all are erasing black American history. Black immigrants from overseas coming to America complaining about representation is the same as a white person going to Asia, going to China, going to Japan, and complaining about not seeing themselves. Why would you see yourself when you have your own country with its own media platforms? Black Americans will never exist in media outside of black America. We will never go to Nigeria and see black American culture represented. We will never go to Ghana and see black American culture represented. We'll never go to South Africa and see black American culture represented. Black America can only exist in America. So if they start erasing black American out of the media, then that is black erasure. We are the only group of people who can be erased because we only exist here. And our culture is super important because there would be no America without Black Americans. Y'all never give Dominicans this much flack. Never give Puerto Ricans this much flack. But for some reason, y'all don't feel like Black Americans are American. We are more American than white America. Fuck what y'all talking about. We built America. Everything that this country is built off the backs of Black American slavery. There is no American history without descendants of Black American slavery. Like there is no America without Black America. And until y'all understand that, y'all will never understand our identity. Y'all are always saying that Black people in America don't know their roots. This is our roots. Our roots is the fact that we survived slavery and we built America from the ground up. That is our roots, period. And it's not to be fucking argued. Y'all come here, and it's no shade because my dad is Nigerian. So nobody understands the fact that foreigners don't get it more than me. Y'all come here and y'all do zero research about us. Y'all learn nothing about our people. You never watched Roots. You never watched The Color Purple. You never heard of Malcolm X. You never heard about the Civil Rights Movement. And then y'all come here and try to tell us who's considered Black and who's not when you don't even understand our culture or our people. And that's weird to me, and it's fucking sad.
Just want to talk about this for a second. Sports, music, culture, United States of America. Without Black folk, it'd be a really, really dull place to be. Y'all agree with that? Sports, music, culture. So let's elaborate on this a little bit. Today's Sunday. NFL. Can you imagine if all of the Black folk that play football, coach football, are up in the high offices of the NFL? What if they decided not to come to work today? That's just football. We ain't even talking about basketball yet. I love basketball. That's my thing. Same thing. All of them. Steph Curry. I don't know why I started with him. He's cool. LeBron James. Pretty much the whole NBA. Black folk. Include the coaches. Front office. What if they all decided not to step on the court? What would that be like for the United States of America? Oh, shoot, man. Break out your music. All your music. That's the culture that we're talking about, right? Can you imagine if we were still just listening to Bach, Beethoven? I love that music. In fact, that music was here before jazz. And then jazz got a hold of Bach, Mozart, and add a little rhythm to it. I know I'm not giving everybody lessons on here. I understand that. But a lot of people just don't know. especially the youngins. Send this to the youngins so they understand what they got going on right now. All the stuff they listen to, all of it is derived from jazz, blues. Hence the name R&B, rhythm and blues. I know I'm not giving everybody a lesson, but I wanted to come on here because this guy that folks, however folks thinking it was rigged, I do, but we're not even getting into that. We still had an election. We still had people come out to vote. And it was already telling us that the country was divided. So we already knew that. So however, it doesn't even matter how those numbers are skewed. White, black, that's all part of the system too, by the way, that whole white, black thing. They made that up. That's a man-made thing. White folk made that up back in the day. We'll get into that later on in some other videos. But he created this. So what I'm thinking is, when you're watching your game today, your favorite team, NFL, it's an NFL Sunday, just think about everything that I just said. This is what we, as a people, this is what we've added to the American culture. And also think about this as I get off of here. Think about how many, this is now pertaining to sports. Think of how many folks' livelihoods, YT folks, that are relying on reporting on sports. That's everything from podcasts to even news programs that are dedicated to just talking about sports. And their livelihoods, the way they bought their house, the way they're eating, their livelihood. Again, black folk. Still making money off of us. Folks, I'm not on here to create any kind of confusion. Okay? My job is to enlighten folks and educate folks. Okay? I don't have a whole bunch of time left on this planet, folks. All right? I'm on the twilight of my life now. I just figured maybe I need to start spreading a little bit of information out there. This beautiful platform that we have here called TikTok, which they're trying to take away from us. Anyway, think about those things today. Without black folk, going all the way back to the beginning of this country would not be anything. I'm keeping it 100. I'm learning the new slang. I'm keeping it 100. 10 down with it, 10 toes down. See you guys in another video. Take care of yourselves.
The foundation of America was built on black labor. We all know that, and it is the truth. When Europeans came to the land, they didn't build America alone. When Europeans came to the land, they built it on the backs of enslaved Africans. From 1619 onward, the wealth of America was tied on free labor extracted from black bodies, cotton, sugar, ice, tobacco, just name it. And these weren't just crops, what I've mentioned here. This was not just crops. They were billions-dollar industry. Cotton alone made America the world's economic giant. And cotton was planted, picked, and processed by black slaves. So if you remove the history, if you erase black people from the equation, there is no Black Wall Street, or there is no Wall Street. If you remove black people from the equation, there is no booming economy. There is no America as we know it is. And yet, when we speak the truth, or when we share the truth, we are seeing white rage, okay? Why is white rage exploding when we talk about this? Because they want to believe they build the nation alone. They want to believe that hard work or their hard work made America great. But history says otherwise. And that's why DJT is working hard to erase this ugly history. He is calling it woke history. Because once he erases this history and rewrite their own history, yes, it will be a lie, but the children who are coming will believe that America was built by white Americans through hard work of white people. But that's not how it is. That's not how it is. We have the invisible hand of black inventors here. Because black Americans are not just the labor force of America. Black Americans are also brain power. How many times have they stolen invention from black people or from Africa? Here in Africa, sometimes in Kenya, we had some youths, for example, a kid building an aeroplane, and then again, he went silent. We had a kid who hacked bank account and removed 1 shilling in each and every one who is doing transaction. That was brain power, and he was taken away. We never heard about them anymore because it is being like, let him come here to America so that he can be so and so. But that's how they steal our brain power. That's how they steal our brilliance. They erased black brilliance from history and they rename it with theirs. Okay, for example, I will talk about Garrett Morgan. He invented the traffic lights and gas marks. Dr. Charles Drew revolutionized blood banks and saved millions of lives. Lewis Latimer helped develop the light bulb with Edison. The refrigerator trucks that powers modern food supply chains, invented by Frederick McKinley Jones. And that's just scratching the face. America without black inventors will be decades behind. Technology, medicine, engineering, name it, all was shaped by black minds. Okay? But they don't teach this in schools. Why? Because white rage can't handle the truth that black genius build Americas. They can't handle the truth that black people are the engine of America. Okay? Now, the truth is that why would American culture or where would American culture be without black people? Because the culture of what America are using, they are using black culture. Black music is the heartbeat of America. Jazz, blues, gospel, hip-hop, and all of this was created by black Americans. Today, hip-hop is one of the most influential culture on earth. Fashion is influenced by black creativity. Language, influenced by black slang and black rhythm. Sports, it's dominated by black excellence. Okay? So, just take away black culture. What do you have left in this country? What do you have? If we talk about country music and apple pie, that's not culture. I think it's not culture. Okay, if I'm wrong, tell me in the comment section. Country music is not culture. Apple pie is not culture. That's not nostalgia. The truth is that America sells black culture to the world while denying credit to the creators. And if black Americans disappeared tomorrow, America would lose its growth. They will. If black Americans say, you know what, we are done, then they will lose that. So white rage explodes when you say this because deep down, they know it's true. And black Americans have political power. They have political power because America claims to be the land of democracy, but who made America live up to those words? It's black people. Without the civil rights movement, without Martin Luther King Jr., without Malcolm X, without Rosa Parks, without Fannie Lou Hamer, America will still be a segregated Jim Crow society pretending to be free. But black Americans forced this country to confront its hypocrisy. Every day, elections swing on the power of the black vote. Look at Georgia in 2020. Look at how black people voters changed the outcome. Look at how every election cycle, both parties beg for black votes. So if you remove black Americans from the political equation, America collapses into minority role. Okay? If you remove black America, it will collapse, exposed as an apartheid state. And that's the truth they don't want to face. America without black Americans, according to me, it is something else. And I thought of experiment. Picture America without black Americans. No jazz, no hip-hop, no gospel, no MLK, no Malcolm X, no Barack Obama, no Garrett Morgan, no Charles Drew, No Latimer, no Frederick Jones, no Serena Williams, no Muhammad Ali, no Michael Jackson, no LeBron James. Name them. What would there be left? It will be a bland society with no rhythm, no creativity, no courage, no soul, no, no anything. An American that never became a superpower, it will remain an American irrelevant to the world. Family, America without black people is not America. It's just a stolen land with no spirit. And maybe we'll ask ourselves some questions. Why do they fear this truth? Why does the truth about black Americans make a white rage explode? It is simple. It is about fear. You fear the foundation for their power was built on lies. That's what they fear. They fear that the wealth they inherited is stolen wealth. They fear that that without black people, America collapses. They fear that if black people unite, rise, and they come together, then the system, as they know, it ends. So the fear is not new. It goes back to slavery when they passed laws and keep black people from learning to read, because knowledge is power. It continued during Reconstruction, and when black Americans began winning political office, and white rage responded with lynch mobs and the Ku Klux Klan. It showed up again in the civil rights movement when black leaders were assassinated for daring to demand equality. And today, we still see it. Police brutality is fueled by fear of black bodies. Mass incarceration is fueled by fear of black success. Voter suppression is fueled by fear of black political power. So white rage is always a section of black people, or of a section of white reaction to black progress. Every time black Americans rise, every time black Americans push this nation forward, white rage explodes, because deep down they know the truth. America depends on black people but cannot control them forever. Okay? And one thing about black people is our black spirituality, the soul of America. When enslaved Africans were brought to America, they didn't just bring their bodies. They brought their spirit. They brought their songs. They brought their resilience. They brought a connection to God and the true God that could not be broken. Okay? The spiritual slang in the fields, the cotton field, were more than songs. They were prayers. They were chords. They were survival. Gospel music that rose from black churches shaped not that just the religion, but also it shaped the entire America's soundscapes. Even today, some of the greatest singers, some of the greatest choirs and voices of inspiration came from the black church. And beyond music, black spirituality powered resistance. It was Harriet Tubman saying she followed the voice of God to lead slaves to freedom. It was not Turner rising with a vision of liberation. It was Dr. King preaching justice from the spirit, okay, or from the pulpit. Without black spirituality, America would be soulless. The moral compass of the nation, the fight for justice, equality, and truth come from the black faith, come from black resilience. It comes from black hope, okay? Now, I'll say this. America sells itself as a land of freedom, the land of culture, the land of greatness. But ask yourself, what do people across the world admire most about America? It is not the government. It is not the military. It is not Wall Street. It is the culture. And that culture is black. Because if you say they are admiring the white culture, what is white culture? White people has the history of genocide, history of unaliving, history of oppression. So their culture is rotted. It's not like the black culture, okay? So when you talk about culture, we talk about hip-hop. It is global. It is not military. Or hip-hop is global. From Nairobi to Paris, from London to Tokyo, black music shapes youth culture everywhere. Black athletes are global icons. Black activists inspire liberation movement around the world. When Nelson Mandela was fighting apartheid, he looked to black Americans. When African nations were seeking independence, they looked to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. When young people today in Europe or Asia want to impress or express themselves, they do it through rap, they do it through dance, they do it through style, all born from black Americans. So if you remove black America, America loses its soft power. It loses its influence. It becomes irrelevant on the global stage. So the truth is, America doesn't dominate the world because of its politics. It dominates the world because of its culture. And that culture is overwhelmingly black. That's what I'm thinking. Tell me what you think on the comment section about this video. Until next episode, peace out.